They were making this one for a while.
It finished filming in 2021.
Yeah.
Right. When did they start? Because I thought it started like
it was announced in
while
2015.
Ago. Yes.
And then it didn't start filming until late 2020, finished in 2021, sat on the shelf until 2023.
Yeah.
Then they did reshoots with a different director.
Tim Miller.
And then this. And it's like 9 or 10 different writers.
Okay. Because I remember seeing the trailer, I think when I was seeing Deadpool Wolverine, and I was like, that was the first I heard of it. I was like, this is a video game from when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And so I looked into it more and they're like, oh, they started like making it in 2015. I'm like, okay, why did it take so long to get here?
YUNKJunk!
I'm your host, JD of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA. 19127. It's a rad-ass comic shop that caters to rad-ass folks just like you and your mom. With me tonight to talk is Noel.
Hi.
And Alice.
Howdy.
Also in the booth is our trusty producer, Dylan.
Here I am.
Hey, Dylan.
Ew.
If anyone's watching or listening, wants to know more about the YUNKJunk HQ, wherein the place we are now filming and broadcasting live, where can they inquire to get some of this goodness?
They can get all this goodness at the email down at the bottom. If you shoot me an email, ask me for some goodness, and we'll hook you up with some goodness if you want the same goodness that these guys got.
Is it under the table?
Where is it?
Yeah.
It's under the table?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Here? Good.
Pretty close.
Good.
All right.
Before we jump into tonight's show, we want to thank you for joining us, because you could be anywhere else in the world right now. If you're here with us live, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, hit the little bell notification, and get all those nasty, dirty little ring-a-dings to let you know that we're doing stuff. A little back and forth is appreciated. You can email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com, just like Christopher St. Saucy does on the regs. I'm going to read it to you now. All of your void teams fail.
Wow.
Because Noel, until they say otherwise, Luke Cage is a part. Okay, so hold a little bit of backstory.
No.
A little bit of backstory.
This first line is bullshit. Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Chris wrote us in last week and said, what would your void teams be from, if you've seen Deadpool Wolverine, there's a void and there's forgotten characters in there. So we were to build our own teams from the void. And Noel, until they say otherwise, Luke Cage is a part of the MCU and hasn't been pruned.
The other way around. Until they say otherwise, he is not a part of the MCU and should be assumed pruned.
You are correct.
Thank you.
JD and Alice both chose people outside of the MCU. As the Void is a Marvel concept and consists of characters pruned from characters from Marvel properties sold off to other studios, I find fault including the characters you chose. Winky face.
This was a conversation we had before recording when they shared their prune teams, their void teams, and I was like,
we all interpreted his question slightly differently.
I interpreted it incredibly wrong until like 5 minutes before we went live.
I interpreted it correctly.
Secondly, he finds fault with your opinions on the Scream movies. Alice, we're up. If I were ranking the original 3.
Wait, did you guys rank on a show that I wasn't on?
No, we were there.
Was I there for the rank?
Yeah, I think
ranked together. Okay,
we all had the same ranking. I'm pretty sure.
We all pretty much were on point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I were ranking the original 3, I would rank them 3, 2, 1. Now hold up. Is he saying 3 is the best or 1 is the best?
I read that as 3 is the best.
Most people would say first to worst.
So
right?
he's saying Scream 3 is the best.
Well, okay, continue reading because it goes on.
If you include 4, 5, and 6 on the list, I would say 3, 2, 4, 5, 6, 1.
No, maybe it's the other way. Maybe.
One has to be the
I can
first,
guarantee you that
best,
your number
right?
one complaint about Scream 3 is wrong. No, he's saying 3 is the best.
Mother Hubbard. Also, what's your complaint about Scream 3? Any of us?
Oh, I mean that it has everything to do with Sydney, but she's barely in it. That the movie tacks on lore, which I don't have a problem with, but it also I don't mind it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
The secret brother no one knew about, and he was behind Scream 1 the whole time. Get the
the lore that I appreciate is the weird, creepy Hollywood lore that precipitated all that. Like, I actually think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and especially like the worshiping
Sydney's mom going to Hollywood.
The worshiping of horror movies based off of that notion of Hollywood fucking you.
Oh, yeah.
Like I like all of that kind of like lore.
And there's some excellent what is his name? The guy who was a jerk and he produces movies. Weinstein. A lot of pre-Weinstein conversations.
But then I think the movie
And
also
he
is
was involved in these.
It's a joke in and of itself too, because you've got like Jay and Silent Bob in character around. So like, what are the rules in this universe? It's like I don't know. It's very weird. It's like having a musical number in the middle of a movie that's not a musical.
Yep.
It's just but it's not like the contributing factor. It's just like.
And also the tone is way off. I understand that it's post.
Yeah, there's bits in
Columbine.
Carrie Fisher in it.
Post Columbine, the mandate was don't make this as spooky as it should be.
Right.
And so it is way more comedy than horror. Whereas in the first one is like a perfect blend of the two genres. The second one is mildly uneven, but still pretty good. And the third one is just comedy.
I think the second one gets better over time too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And thirdly, you are 100% right about Trap.
Wait, I didn't say my number one complaint about Scream 3.
I'm a jerk. Go ahead.
Courtney Cox's bangs.
They're the worst. They're the worst. I don't even understand how they let her be on camera. Which I remember seeing in the theater, being like,
pretty
what?
with the bangs, but I can only look at the bangs.
So they're like little wisps.
Sorry, that was a silly complaint.
We all know.
I'm just
the
kidding.
best part of Scream 3? I have an answer, but do you guys have an answer?
The best part of Scream 3?
I mean, it's the end.
Her
send-off. Her closure.
Her leaving the gate open and walking into the sunset with her dog.
How they start her being a crisis hotline person, still being paranoid, and then it ends with her still being helping people in crisis and not really worrying about the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
You could say her arc is completely done there.
Yeah. Right.
The rest is just like, whoops, I show up because there's a killer. But her story arc is finished.
4 stretched the credulity of including her.
Yeah.
5 and 6 were just
she's a cameo.
Yeah.
He's actually in the chat.
Yeah.
Sydney still has more screen time than Gail or Dewey, and her time is about the same as Scream 2. Really?
I would like to see the metrics on that. I think you're going off vibes, Saucy. But
also because she wasn't there. She wasn't
available to film for most of the shoot. So she had
was she doing Wild Things or something?
Yeah, or something.
She had a couple of inserts, and then Dewey and Gail drive the plot for her, and then she comes back in midway, and then again for the finale. Like, she's not in that movie a lot.
He says her bangs are bad in one scene, but they aren't bad the whole movie. They work when she had her hair up.
Fair point. They're not as bad when she has her hair up. I'm saying she's still very attractive. I'm not slighting Courtney Cox at all. It distracted me when I first saw it.
Her hot dog suit.
Oh, because of the colors of her suit.
Her dress, her like pencil skirt is like
yellow,
pink magenta, but her blazer is like really yellow. So they're like, it's a hot dog suit. She's wearing a hot dog.
And thirdly, you are 100% right about Trap.
There we go.
A locked room suspense thriller loses its appeal once they get out of the room. It's the same reason I preferred Flight Plan over Red Eye. Once Rachel McAdams gets off that plane, the movie lost its appeal. With Trap, I was super stoked for the movie. I am a fan of Hartnett because of Lucky Number 11. It's in my top 5. And he has a great cameo in Sin City. I forgot about that. So I was hoping this was a return to greatness for him. Unfortunately, it was a dud for me. The stadium setting, which was appealing to me because I worked part-time at a major football stadium, was used laughably.
Thank you.
They would have never added a full concert in the afternoon before a night show. At most, it would have been an open sound check or a concert on another night. The stadium wasn't near full enough. She sold out the evening show, but the concourse was laughably empty before and during the concert. The security at the stadium was ridiculous. The t-shirt guy would never have had a card that had access to any storage areas. A badge with a photo on it that another security guard would check, maybe, but key card access? No way. As for the rest of it, I think I've droned on enough.
I think that's really interesting that you have like a behind the scenes look at like being a security guard.
Yeah.
That's how I feel watching like forensic shows. And I'm like, they would never do that way. They would never do this. So I think that's really cool that you had.
It's true. And these are all things like, these aren't really mysterious things that probably 15 minutes of research as to how an event and event space is. Whereas you went to years of schooling in order to like find out the right and wrong way. This is just Google that could have like elucidated, illustrated all the things that.
To be fair, I'd work behind the scenes in Hollywood if anybody was hiring.
So I for a living, I do marketing and copy. And over and over and over again, it's like, oh, it doesn't really matter. Like, how do you write for this audience, this audience? It's all about like, I have this idea and this spine, and then you take time to break it. You have other people stress test it. You look at it, you poke holes in it before you ever even put it in the wild. This movie was filled with fucking holes and inconsistencies.
It was Swiss
and
cheese.
Not a single person was like, yo, Knight, I don't think he'd open the door. Nothing. Like, hey, that's not how an audience works. Or, hey, that's not this. Not a single person stress tested his ideas. And it was like filled with, the more I think about it, the more I'm just so hate mediocre.
Well, it's my 4 out of 6 for M. Night Shyamalan.
He continues, I will give M. Night credit for casting Haley Mills as someone who set a trap for someone with parental issues. I don't get it.
She's the original actress for Parent Trap in the 1960s.
Oh, that's right. I never actually saw any of those. He continues, my top 5 M. Night movies are Unbreakable, number 5, Split, number 4, The Visit, number 3, The Village, number 2, and of course, The Sixth Sense for number 1.
We had the same 1 and 3.
With Old being the worst of his I've seen.
Have you seen Last Airbender?
You must not have seen The Last Airbender, right? So anyway, thank you for emailing us, Christopher St. Saucy. Good night. Also, he takes you to tasks. He says, nope, I listened to a podcast that did the numbers on screen time.
What podcast?
Vis-a-vis Sydney.
Well, I mean, she's the main character. Do we want to completely 1-for-1 compare her to Galen Dewey as opposed to, in regards to screen time? Like, is that?
No,
is that
were you
even
saying
like
that her time is the same as Scream 2 as it is in Scream 3, whereas it feels like she's barely in Scream 3 to me.
Sydney still has more screen time than Gale or Dewey, and her time is about the same as Scream 2.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, I guess the fact that there wasn't like any other than Parker Posey, every single additional character was boring as shit in part 3 versus we had a lot of really great side characters.
Can I see his ranking again? I just want to see how it compares to ours. If it's like completely reversed.
It's basically the reverse.
I was going to say, is it completely reversed?
Except for Sixth Sense.
Where's 4? No.
For Scream. The Scream rankings.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still on Scream.
It's the exact reverse of our Scream rankings. Mine is
switched. Mine is 1, 4, 2.
Oh, if we're doing all 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's 1, 4, 5.
2.
1, 4, 5, 2, 6, and 4.
3.
Or 6, 3, sorry.
Yeah. 1, 4, 5, 2.
Why'd you go
6, 3. I'm just doing this. This means nothing. This is just
why
me
are you skipping up?
doing
It's
this
like,
way.
but it's like per trilogy.
I can flop between. It depends on what mood I'm in. Talking again. Depends on what mood I'm in. I could flip 5 and 2, but usually I'm in that.
Actually, I agree with that.
Yeah, it depends on what I'm looking for.
1 and 4 though.
5
1 and 4 are always my top 2.
Yeah.
Actually, 5 and 4 flip for me based on the
Really?
mood. Yes, because 4 is like a much better mystery magic trick, but 5 I think speaks to. I just love how they speak to horror a little bit more than that movie does. So like 5 recaptures the
whodunit
about the thematic,
I'm thinking 4.
The thematic bits about number 1 about horror movies and the placement of horror movies in popular culture, just in general discourse. 4 is just a good slasher, with a nice twist.
Yeah.
So like 5, based on my mood, kind of jumps above 4.
1 and 2 are the only 2 that. Or 1 and 4 are the only ones where I'm like surprised by who the killer is. The rest of the movies they just threw a dart at a name and was like, I guess that's the killer. It's like none of them
backtrack from there.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Christopher St. Saucy. Good night. We should start a Scream
seriously
podcast.
Though, it's been done. Hey, St. Saucy, what podcast did you listen to about
the numbers?
Scream? Yeah,
if you're listening to a podcast about Scream, I want to listen to it too. So please let us know.
Did you not listen to the Halloweenies?
I did listen to the Halloweenies, but if it's the Halloweenies, I know I've listened to it. But
we're there.
All right. Anyway,
but if it's not, I want another Scream podcast. So.
I have a question that I like to ask my very good friends, and that is, hey, Cult Poppers, what's poppin'? Alice, what's poppin' this week for you? What did you do?
I rewatched one of my favorite movies from my childhood, which was 2000
Parent
X-Men.
Trap.
Now, I did love that. I mean, honestly, yes. But I didn't rewatch that recently. I rewatched X-Men from 2000.
In a
Directed
world
by
where
Bryan
mutants,
Singer.
evolved, superpowered humans exist and we are discriminated against, two groups form for an inevitable clash: the supremacist Brotherhood and the pacifist X-Men, directed by Bryan Singer.
Supremacist. Oh, worst tagline of any movie ever.
What's the tagline again?
Trust a few, fear the rest. It is the anathema of X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Whoa.
But yeah.
Yeah.
but either way, I
thought
remember
the
that in the
tagline
trailers.
was, do you know what happens to a toad when he gets hit by
I thought
lightning?
you thought it was the same thing, and I still love it.
Not dialogue, tagline.
Tagline, yeah.
During all of the promotions, it was trust a few, fear the rest.
So
Like,
you
why?
promised us up and down, inside and out, that you were going to watch every single one of the X-Men movies.
Not Origins.
But except for Origins, that doesn't count. How's it going?
Oranges is better than
Is this-
some
I
of them.
made it this far.
Nice.
One. Work got busy.
A lot of dead folk.
Yep. It just keeps happening.
Why not Origins? It's not worse than.
It is.
It's not the worst one.
It is the worst one.
No, it's not.
I-
I
What's the
rewatched
worst one?
Origins recently, actually, and it's pretty bad, but enjoyable.
Yeah, it's not the worst
Okay. All
one.
right. Maybe I'll.
It's not.
It's not the
Guys,
worst
I
one.
still
It's
haven't watched it.
entertaining.
Maybe I
So
will.
if you're going to go on a 12, 13 movie journey, a 14 one is no big fucking deal.
True.
Okay. All right. I've been easily convinced. I'll watch it again.
I don't think it's the worst one.
What's the worst one?
Apocalypse is so much worse.
Okay.
Boring.
Yeah.
Apocalypse
right.
is so much worse.
Shit.
Wolverine Origins has like 3 or 4 solid fucking set pieces and a really, really good opening. And it stumbles the hell out of the ending.
All right. Well, now I have to watch
But
all
it's
of them and
not-
figure out which one's worse.
It's not
Yeah.
good. But
So what'd you
it is
think
not
of
the worst.
X-Men
Yeah, sorry.
2000?
No,
This was your first
Still-
time? Oh no,
no.
you've seen it. Okay,
No.
okay.
This was. I think we talked about this on the Deadpool Wolverine
Yeah,
episode.
I wasn't allowed to come to that show.
This was like the. You weren't allowed. This was the superhero comic book movie that like got me into superhero comic book movies. After this, I saw Spider-Man. And like I saw Fantastic Four, and I just got so into it, and I love all those kind of movies. Still now,
This was
20
the
some odd years later.
This was the second one.
What
The
was
second, this Blade, and then 2
Blade?
years later,
Yeah,
this came
yeah.
out.
I hadn't seen
That
Blade
was-
yet.
Those were the only like
This
things
was
that were comic booky. at the
yeah.
time.
This was it, and I still love it. And like I don't know if part of it's nostalgia, but I was just like. I was watching again. And I'm like, oh my God, I remember. Like, I felt like a kid again. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, they're so cool. I love every interaction between Charles Xavier and Eric Magneto. Like,
Yeah.
Mr. Ian McKellen and Patrick
Charles.
Stewart, just them together. Like, oh my God, it's just so good.
They're so good.
They're just so
I
good
couldn't believe
together.
when I heard that they were who they had gotten to play the characters. I couldn't believe it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so good.
So good. And it's just, I mean, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, obviously iconic. And he was so young.
He's a baby.
He's a baby.
Yeah, I can't
in
believe
this.
how young he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. I freaking loved it still. It was
Nice.
great.
That's good to
It's
hear.
a fun movie.
Yeah.
I wish it had more money thrown at it.
Sure.
You could
Yeah.
totally see the seams,
Yeah.
especially for a movie in 2000.
Yeah.
But it's still good.
I didn't care.
the throw around. I think it was like that one shot, the throw around the Statue of Liberty, where it's like a digital
Awful.
body double.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Wolverine
awful.
and like
Yeah.
the physics of that never
Yeah.
made sense to
Well,
me.
Also, too, how he's thrown is like wire, but then it just turns into like a fluid, weird thing, and then it's a
Yeah.
wire again. It's just
Yeah.
like a
Mhm.
terrible
Very strange.
transition.
Yeah.
Like, just don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not even. Just don't do. It's not even a good gag. Don't do that.
Yeah. I think I had my nostalgia blinders on when I was watching, and I was just like, oh my God.
Nostalgia blunders are.
Yeah.
I feel like that movie compared to X2 is kind of boring.
Yeah. I haven't rewatched X2 yet, but I have
X2
seen
is
it.
baller.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think Bryan Singer is a good action director at all.
Did he do X2 as well?
He did 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
He first
And
of all,
Superman Returns.
he's an absolute piece of shit
Ah.
garbage person that's
Yeah.
excommunicated
Oh.
from
Right off the
Hollywood.
bat, there he is,
So,
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
sucks.
that.
But he's always been a very boring action director.
Mm.
He's just very, very good at aesthetic and editing. Like he has his editor, John Ottman, is like his go-to editor for everything he's ever done. But no spoilers, please. For what, Eddie? Eddie Madsen jumped in the chat. Hey, everyone, no spoilers, please.
I think he means for Borderlands, which we're going to be talking about later.
Okay, clarify for us, Eddie, because I don't want to spoil.
There will be
anything for you.
spoilers, but we'll let you know before we
Yeah.
get to them. So
No
no worries.
Yeah, he's just terrible. I don't think he's very good at action at all, because if you think about the largest action set pieces for the first two movies, you're in with the characters and it's you want to happen, but like there's barely any hand-to-hand combat. It's only the one scene with Mystique, basically.
I think that the
Mystique.
Nightcrawler intro scene
for 2
is awesome.
It peaks.
Oh my God.
Not unlike Superman Returns.
Yes.
It peaks at the beginning of the fucking movie.
And then you fall asleep. The rest of
Everything
it,
is
yeah.
like just
Yep.
feelings. There's no like emotional climaxes with action. He just is a terrible action director.
Yeah.
And for at the end of X2, all of the stuff with Jean was fantastic. But when we're talking about like, hey, our marquee hand-to-hand fight, it's just him and Lady Deathstrike slashing at each other, and it just ends like that. Yeah, we're spoiled from all of like the X-Men and superhero movies since these didn't have much, but they're still like strong actors, really good. So keep going, please keep going.
I will. I had this whole intention to do a whole big rewatch when Costa was out of town one weekend. Not because he doesn't like these, just because I just had a lot of free
Something
time.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I got called into work every day that weekend. So
Which ones have you seen and not seen?
I think I've seen all of them,
You have?
but it's been
Forever.
a very long time. So I probably couldn't tell you some stuff that happened. Like they kind of all mesh together. I saw Days of Future Past in theaters. I remember that because I was in college. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I've seen all of them, if not most of them. I've seen Origins. I know I've seen X1 and 2.
This has a IMDb rating of 7.3 out of 10.
Can I go next?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
what's poppin'?
Hey, what's poppin'?
I
so
would like
excited.
to commemorate.
Want to do my thing? Spider crawl on the table. Alex is so excited. She's climbing on the walls.
It's like a weird thing, and then she just pops into a camera frame. The return of the greatest reality television occurred this past week.
Please tell me I love reality television.
The greatest. It's called the NFL.
No, not me.
No,
I was waiting for Dance Moms.
So I'm my interests overlap in ways that don't touch each other. Like I am a sports fan as well as like a nerd, but there is the NFL is starting. The team that I love the most is in a rebuilding year, and it's super exciting. But leading up to the NFL, they have a show called Hard Knocks, which behind the scenes follows everyone like a specific team during off season, then a specific team during training camp. And it's a reality show. You learn about these guys' families, what they're up to.
I do love that kind of
like how terrible they are in practice and how it looks in the field. And the most impressive thing about this is it's happening in real time. The second episode was today, and it was all the stuff that happened over the weekend.
Wow.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It is a beautifully produced show. Dylan, as a producer and editor, do you watch some of the NFL stuff because it's so well produced?
No.
You are an idiot.
Yeah, well, where can I watch it?
It is on HBO Max
Okay,
every Tuesday.
I have that.
There's two of them. They follow the Giants.
Boo.
Yeah, I know, I hate them. During off season, so it was all about like
Boo.
It was all about the drama of like cutting people and trading them and firing them and stuff. And then they're following the Chicago Bears now during training camp. And it's the coolest goddamn thing that's ever happened in the NFL. Go Bears, bear down. Have a good one, everybody.
Go Bills.
Football, sports,
Birds.
sports, whatever. It's storytelling. It's beautiful. It's a bunch of people working in unison together for a very simple goal. There are plot lines attached to it. It's difficult. Like when something awful happens, I don't support it. But in terms of like the purity of the sport and just the funness of it,
Yeah,
it's really great.
I get
I
it.
really liked Ted Lasso.
Honestly,
And Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights, the TV show, was
Nice.
great.
that stuff comes from somewhere, and it's the actual locker room experience. And like watching that is wonderful.
I didn't watch football until I lived in Buffalo, New York for a while. And like the community and just like how much fun people have with the Buffalo Bills. I was like, I have to become a fan of this now.
I have to talk to your husband. I'm sorry, fiance.
Fiance, not yet. Not until next year.
I have to talk to Costa about last Saturday.
Oh no, don't talk to me about it.
My team beat his team 33
I
to 6.
know they did.
And it was fucking shellacking.
What embarrassing as a Bills fan. But
Eddie says, I saw Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Paramount Plus today.
Oh.
It was good.
Yeah.
So is that the animated series based on their most recent movie?
Yep.
I want to see that. I'm glad that Eddie liked it. I want to watch that.
JD.
Hey,
did
hi.
you pop something this
What's
week?
poppin'?
Did you pop
I'll
something?
pop it. I pop it for whatever reason. Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what the reason was. I was on a streaming service that I forget, maybe Netflix, and I saw that The Equalizer was on there, and I was leaving at the end of this month. It was
Leaving
like,
soon?
yeah, it's like leaving soon on August 30, whatever.
It always feels like a threat.
Right?
Like,
It
watch
is.
this.
Watch this
Well, I
shit
mean,
now.
That's a
It's
call to
literally a
action.
threat.
It works on you.
So
I didn't.
Yeah. Now you're gonna go
I
home
will
and be
never
like,
watch this
you're
now.
gonna go home and be like,
That's
I have
right.
to watch this, and I only have X amount of
3
days.
hours.
Yeah.
So The Equalizer, which was a film from 2014, directed by Antoine Fuqua?
Yeah.
Of
Equalizer 2,
and
Equalizer 3,
Training Day.
Tears of Heaven, Training Day,
I've never seen Tears.
Magnificent Seven.
I really want to see that.
A bunch of action
Training Day
movies.
is so goddamn good. I love that movie.
Him and Denzel are can't miss.
Buddies. Denzel Washington, Chloe Grace Moretz, and Martin Sokas. I remember seeing this in the theater, probably with my mom. We used to go to like action movies like this, and this was fun. This was back in a time where it didn't matter if you had a dad bod. You could kill every person in the room, even if you had a paunch. And that's kind of what Denzel has here. He's kind of dad body. And I'll tell you, a man who believes he has put his mysterious past behind him cannot stand idly by when he meets a young girl under the control of ultra-violent Russian gangsters. Basically, he's a quiet gentleman who goes to the diner and he reads books. What a weirdo. And then Chloe Grace Moretz is there and she's a prostitute. And something bad, they're friends and they see each other every night and they kind of like have a little bit of chat and then she goes off to toot her prosties. And then something bad happens to her. So he single-handedly, spoiler alert, kills all the Russians in the world, I guess. He kills every single person in this mob, one by one. And, you know who else is in it? Hellboy.
Ron Perlman?
No, David Harbour.
David Harbour.
David Harbour. Oh,
Yeah. So,
my God.
this was fun. Very silly, testosterone fueled, I guess, nonsense. But it was really scratching a very certain itch that I was like in the mood for.
Did you see part 2 and 3?
No, I actually, as soon as it was done, I went to go put on the next Equalizer and only part 3 is on Netflix. So I had to go to Hulu to watch Equalizer 2. And I watched about the first 10 minutes
And
of that.
Hulu threatened you.
And it was like, this is gone in 40 minutes. You better hurry up.
Yeah. Go.
Watch it at 3 times speed to get through it.
That's how I do my podcast.
This is a wonderful movie. I saw this in theaters also.
Yeah.
This whole trilogy, my wife and I watched recently, like within the last year.
No kidding.
Yeah, because she had never seen. I think we both saw 1, but neither of us had seen 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And we just watched them like over the course of a week.
Mhm.
These are dad movies.
Yeah.
These are like hardcore dad
I
action. movies.
love
like,
dad action movies.
Like it's a good Taken.
Oh, yeah.
Better Taken. How about that? But yeah, it's just Denzel Washington righting wrongs, and then eventually like in Italy,
Oh, yeah.
just cause.
I
They gotta go to
I
Italy at least
believe
once.
Denzel Washington
Mhm.
in this role, actually in almost any role that Denzel is in, I believe him. I feel like Denzel could kill me immediately.
Oh, yeah.
There's things that he does in this movie and all 3 of the movies that I don't think a better actor
That
would not.
scene. What do you see when you
or-
look at me?
Yeah.
Oh God.
that a lesser, let's say a lesser actor, I don't know, would not do. So like this kind of character that is this capable at any age may have OCD. So he
yeah.
does like very specific things and
Has
very
his
specific
tea a
times
very
of
certain
day,
way.
like,
He puts his
he's a
pen
very
over here, his spoon over here.
Yeah, and that continues and carries on with like everything and how he dispatches bad guys.
Uh-huh.
He'll clock
that's
it
right.
and the time,
the whole thing, the whole point of this, it was based on a TV show that I've never seen.
Yes.
It's a remake referencing an old TV show. Have you seen that show?
My grandma used to watch it, so I'm familiar with it.
Was that also part of it?
No.
So in this, you get a zoom into his pupil and then you see him looking out and he is doing the,
Terminator?
Well, I was going to say Robert Downey Jr. in
Oh yeah, Sherlock Holmes.
Where he's like, I see this part of you. I'm gonna.
He's like profiling everybody. Yeah.
He's like figuring out how he's gonna do it, and then he does, and he also like hits a timer for no reason.
It was an 80s television show.
Oh, was it?
So no, it was not like cool at all.
Well, no, I mean like him like using stuff around him.
It was basically just like old white CIA guy.
Gotcha. He'll like walk into a room with no weapons and murder everybody.
He was British, I think. It doesn't matter. Just old man in a hat that would right wrongs.
Okay.
On a weekly basis.
Yeah.
It was
Love
like
an old man in a hat who rights wrongs.
Basically, it was the other side of the coin that was Murder, She Wrote. Like
I also love Murder, She Wrote.
Old lady writer who solves murders on the side, and then
everywhere she goes,
CIA
there's a murder
who rights wrongs on the side. Yeah, they like it was definitely a vibe in the 80s that it was just everything was murder solved. Anybody could solve murders in the 80s. I don't know if you knew that. On television.
I wasn't around in the 80s.
On a weekly basis.
On a weekly basis,
God damn it.
They make a lot of shows about it.
In the 90s, they were solving murders on a weekly basis. Thank you very much.
So Equalizer 2 and 3 live up?
Oh, yeah. They're wonderful. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Pedro Pascal's in the second one, too.
No kidding.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Pedro Pascal's.
Love
Bill
him.
Pullman is in these movies.
What?
Yeah, he's in like a bit part in the first movie. He's like some other FBI woman's husband.
Yeah, his best friend.
Yeah.
It just gets
one
cooler.
scene.
And Elle Fanning is in the third one.
Okay.
And yeah, like these are just it's a murderer's row of like great actors just doing pulp action.
Yeah, it's
movies.
fun.
Yeah,
It's fun watching him work.
good.
So yeah, highly recommended. If you haven't watched The Equalizer 2014, get on it. And also, if you haven't watched Training Day, my movie's so good. It's like top 10.
Christopher St. Saucy Goodnight jumped in the chat. He said, "Noel, I'm at the stadium for home games on game day." Are you talking about the Bears? Are you in Chicago? Do you go?
I think so.
Do you go to
Isn't he?
Soldier Field for?
No,
Pink then also says, I've never seen Blade. Other than the exception of Near Dark, yeah, man, favorite childhood films list, I generally don't like vampire stories. It's made me shrug off Blade for decades.
The first one's fun.
I love vampire
It's really, really fun.
Blade 1 is the perfect amount of absolute nonsense and gore. Well, yeah, people get mad if you say nonsense. It knows exactly what it is. It goes over the top. Everyone's sort of tongue in cheek, except for Blade himself.
Blade 2 is better.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
You genuinely could just skip to Blade 2 if you only have enough like room in your soul for one comic book vampire movie.
Do Blade 2.
Do Blade 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the only plot you need to know is, hey, half vampire, come walk in the daylight.
Yeah.
Boom. You're in.
Yeah.
That's it.
Have you, sorry, I'm going to talk about vampires for 1 second. Have either of you watched the show, What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes.
First 2 seasons.
Oh my God.
But they're up to like 12 now, right?
You've seen like the Council of Vampires?
Yes.
Oh my God. So good.
Is Blade on it?
Blade's on it. But
yeah.
he has to Skype in and they're all like, oh, he's a daywalker. It's so funny. It's so funny.
That's a good show.
Yeah.
All right. We did it. Was that all of us? What was popping? Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, unless
thing.
Dylan wants to add anything.
Dylan, what's popping this week for you, brother?
Let me think.
Was mouth noises.
Scream with Ryan C. Showers is the podcast, says Christopher St. Saucy Goodnight.
That's not a real name. Ryan C. Showers.
Dylan, anything?
That's not a real person. How dare you?
I'm forgetting everything that I
nice.
watched this week.
Well, you can hit us up later.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to our main review, which is of a movie called Borderlands. We are not going to spoil the film until we tell you that we're going to spoil the film. We're going to give our overall thoughts, and then we'll tell you to get the F out of here if you haven't seen it.
What's out of here?
Borderlands, written by Eli Roth and Joe Crombie.
It's an acronym, or it's a pseudonym.
Yeah. It was like written by 9 people, right?
Yeah.
Some of which took their names directly off of the movie.
Yeah.
They were like, don't even want to be related to this.
Yeah, I've got some notes on that when we get to it.
Directed by Eli Roth of Cabin Fever and
Hostel 1, 2,
and 2?
Knock Knock.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Green Inferno.
That's right.
God, he did Green Inferno.
Wasn't bad, actually.
I don't think I saw it.
It was basically the Cannibal Horror. Cannibal Holocaust. I used to have a horror podcast called the Cannibal Holocaust.
It wasn't hard to
cast.
say. by the
Horror
way.
cast.
Yeah, it wasn't hard to say at all.
Yeah. Anyway, starring Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis, Ariana Greenblatt, and Edgar Ramirez. Returning to her home planet, Pandora, an infamous bounty hunter forms an unexpected alliance with a ragtag team of misfits. Together, they battle alien monsters and dangerous bandits to uncover one of Pandora's most explosive secrets. So, I played this game for 12 and a half minutes 10 years ago, probably. And I thought, this is neat. And I didn't care and I put it down. Vicious Marshmallow says he was also the Bear Jew in Inglourious Bastards.
Yes, very aware of that. Yep.
Also, that scene was written for
Adam Sandler, was
Adam
it?
Sandler.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm glad that he didn't get it.
Yeah,
Actually, I think Adam Sandler would have crushed that.
he probably would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not even joking. I think he would have crushed that.
Anyhoomst, I don't think any of us have any real experience with the Borderlands video games.
I know it exists.
I
I knew
apologize.
of it, which is saying a lot because I'm not a gamer usually. My older brother is very much a gamer. He's very good at video games, so maybe that's how I knew it. But I don't think he ever really played this one.
Yeah.
But like I knew, like when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, oh, that's that video
like
game
that
from
game with the-
2009,
I
which is a
know-
lot for me to know.
I was gonna say I know where it exists in the
Zeitgeist.
zeitgeist
It was like
discourse
It
of
was
a
big.
big
first-person
deal.
generation. Yeah.
There's been a bunch of
Yeah.
them.
There's
Yeah.
been three
Well loved.
games and a couple of side games.
Yeah.
But, they were talking. I was listening to a podcast today too that they were talking about like this game was the first. I think it was the first game that combined first person mechanics with third person shooter mechanics of like seeing like scores and other things and like interacting with it. Like
And the amount of weapons you can.
used to, what was it, only like
Big deal.
10? Now it's like
100.
Yeah.
Mhm.
but it was a game changer.
So
Like this movie.
I saw this trailer and I thought, oh, that looks Cate Blanchett. What? I was flabbergasted and delighted to see that Cate Blanchett, and also confused. They see that Cate Blanchett was involved with this picture, and the trailer I thought looked like very Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, it has occurred to me since then that I think Borderlands, the video game, kind of already established the Guardians of the Galaxy aesthetic a little bit pre-Guardians. Guardians just sort of like made it a bit more neon. So when I watched this trailer, I was like, oh, this looks like if you ordered Guardians of the Galaxy from Temu or Wish. But the cast was stacked. I was very excited about the cast. And I just thought it looked like a good, fun time that you just eat popcorn and people get shot and things explode and it's cute and jokes are made.
I mean, all of that does happen.
All of that does happen. What did you have the same experience I did of the trailer? Were you like looking forward to this movie?
I as established on previous shows, I usually know about movies while they're being made. And I knew that this one was troubled. So by the time
They were making this one for a while.
it finished filming in 2021.
Right. When did
During
they
the
start?
pandemic.
Because I thought it started like
It was
a
announced in
while ago.
2015.
Yes.
Whoa.
Okay,
And
that I
then
knew.
it didn't start filming until late 2020. Finished in 2021. Sat on the shelf until 2023.
Yeah.
Then they did reshoots with a different director.
Tim Miller.
And then this,
From Deadpool.
and it's like 9 or 10 different writers.
Okay, because I remember seeing the trailer. I think when I was seeing Deadpool Wolverine, and I was like, that was the first I heard of it. I was like, this is a video game from when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And so I looked into it more, and they're like, oh, they started like making it in 2015. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
why did it take
Like that
so
long?
long to
There's-
get here?
There was I like on film Twitter and stuff too, they dissected the timeline. There was apparently too, a first script for this, it was written by a bunch of really popular people, and it was like the hottest script in Hollywood, and everyone couldn't fucking wait to sign on to it, and just fell apart. Maybe it's Eli Roth's fault. Maybe it's the
I did
studio's
see
fault.
one of the
maybe-
things I did see was that Eli Roth had directed like a hard R version of this movie and do all the rewrites and the reshoots. Now it's a PG-13, not, it's very different than what Eli Roth had originally made, I guess.
I'm not a giant Eli Roth stan.
No.
So I'd venture to guess that maybe I don't think the problem with this movie is more blood and profanity.
No.
So a hard R version of it, I don't care.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if that's what they wanted to
I'm
reshoot.
just saying what I know about like the behind the scenes stuff is that it was supposed to be a hard R. They kind of made that, and then they went back and like, oh, let's not do that. Let's change it.
But what I'm saying is I don't think that they would have hired a completely new director.
If the problem was
just we need to tone down the violence.
Yeah.
Like
That's
that, it's more of a structural issue than you would just have a second unit guy come in and cut.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't actually have
That's true.
a named director come in and do like 3 months worth of reshoots.
Yeah.
And delay the release of the movie, the already announced release of the movie by another year.
Oof.
Oh, wait, what was I saying?
The trailer?
Oh, yeah. So by the time the trailer came out, it just struck me as it felt like it felt like the trailer for like Suicide Squad, the first one, where it's like, oh, that's a music video.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like,
yep.
It's aesthetically pleasing in all the ways it's supposed to. It feels like it was the marketing campaign built via algorithm, not necessarily the personality of the movie. So I was like, yeah, sure, man, that might be fun. But it wasted it.
Yeah.
Everyone in my life was just like, even my wife was like, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, and I just wanted to be like,
yeah,
I guess so.
That's what they were going for. That's what they wanted everyone to walk out of the theater and see the trailer and go, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy, I like that. This will be good.
Yeah, I guess
that was on purpose for sure. Like the color schemes and the music choice in the trailer.
Needle drops need to stop. I mean, when it's done in service of the story, that's great. When it's just because it's a popular song, cut it the fuck out.
It's a popular song from 30 years ago.
Okay, they did Supermassive Black Hole by Muse for one of the scenes.
Yeah.
And I liked that song before.
Did you have a Twilight?
I did have a Twilight moment, but I liked the song before I saw Twilight. But I did have a Twilight moment because that song is so good in the Twilight baseball scene.
I'm not with you anymore.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I'm a hipster with Muse. Like I was listening to back during Showbiz, and then they got popular with Twilight. Whatever.
I'm sorry. They're Stephanie Meyer's favorite band. I didn't make them her favorite band.
Oh, Muse is a band?
Muse is a band.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
So, were you excited to see this movie, Borderlands? Okay, cool.
I don't think it was
Guys,
for me,
we came
but
into it with the right mindset.
I didn't at all. And then the movie theater didn't have Junior Mints, and I was in a bad mood.
All of her opinions are suspect tonight because they did not have Junior Mints
in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They didn't have them for Trap either, and I didn't like Trap.
I think we're seeing
the one right up the road.
Yeah.
And I even
Main Street.
When I saw Trap, I asked. I was like, "Do you have any Junior Mints?" And they didn't have any behind. And then when I went to see this, the movie theater was so busy. I'm like, I'm not going to make this poor 15-year-old at the register go look for Junior Mints. So I just had gummy worms.
We should just go to CVS and get you.
That's what I'm doing from now on because I can't rely on my Junior Mints.
I spend money on peanut butter M&Ms every single time, and it's like $5 for a little bag. So I went to CVS, whatever, and I got the family size bag, and now I'm just going to put them into little Ziplocs and take that to the movie with me.
I cut up an apple and put it in my pocket.
It's really cute. It's really cute. I do eat as a pocket apple. It's delicious.
It's like it's still cold, but it's a little warm because
Pink says it's not often, but sometimes a preview tells you when a movie is just dead on arrival. When I saw it, I just said, "Oh no, oh Kate, no."
Wait, Kate Blanchett is having fun.
Yeah,
that was fun to see.
The movie.
Yeah, let's see.
I wanted positives. Kate Blanchett, I was happy to see her on screen every time she was on screen. I think she understood the assignment. She was there having a good time, playing it pretty straight as like the noir, can't believe I have to do this bullshit kind of character. I will say the movie's, if you want to know how the movie goes, the movie starts with, I'm getting too old for this shit. Like unironically, I'm getting too old for this shit. And I was like, oh no.
After like voiceover that establishes so much stuff.
So yeah. But other than that, I think Kate Blanchett was having fun. I will say Eli Roth does not know how to edit a fight scene with her so that she looks like she's better at what she does.
The gun work I think was good.
The gun work was great. Like her flipping over stuff is like she's having a rough time.
I I loved watching her because every time that she wasn't actively in motion, she would immediately go into a pose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a superhero pose. But yeah, she made choices, like good choices, and I was just like, even when she's not in the scene, she's just on the side. I was looking at her because it was just like a weird, basically like a pause screen pose until you activate the NPC and they come and talk to you. Like it was actually pretty fun to watch. Yeah.
Even the way she walked, I thought looked very video game.
She definitely had the swish. She had the swish going.
And I was like, okay.
I think she did like an interview too where like, why did you make this movie? And she was like, it was just kind of like, it seemed fun and I played the games and I had COVID brain.
Yeah. She's like a little insane from COVID. Yeah. Apparently, I guess she was out in the garden with like a chainsaw, and her husband's like, "You need to find something else to do." Yeah. So anyway, she was great. I loved her. That is kind of all I really have. You know what? There's a couple of good funny bits. I think you didn't like Jack Black as
okay.
Claptrap.
I liked him. I didn't like a bit that I'll talk about later.
That's the only part of his. Actually, there's 2 lines of his that I laughed at, but then him having bullet diarrhea actually did make me laugh.
That's where I was like, I spent money on this.
Yeah.
I was like,
so the joke in the trailer is better than the joke in the movie.
That's what JD said. I missed that. I don't remember.
Don't look at me. Actually, do look at me.
Yeah,
it's helping.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, that's funnier.
It's funnier.
It's less of a shit joke and more of like a masturbation joke.
It's more of a weird kink joke.
Yeah. That was lost on me. But I was like, maybe this movie just isn't for me, and that's fine. It's made for people who enjoy the games. I never played the games.
I don't know if the people that played the games enjoyed it.
I don't know either.
This movie,
so I was hoping you guys would.
It has a 9% Rotten Tomato score.
9 out of 10%.
That is not accurate. This is aggressively mid. It is not bad.
Oh yeah, it's not that. It's not as bad as everyone says it is.
No, it's. I think people just like smelled blood in the water and fucking went hard on this.
The
it's
audience
really not as
score
bad.
Is 53.
That's probably more aligned in what it should be, like around 50.
I
45.
came home last night and I read. So I just saw it last night, and
you're still reeling. You're still vibrating.
I'm still so mad about my junior mints. I went on Rotten Tomatoes because I knew it had a very low critic score. I don't always pay attention to that, but I saw the audience score was 53, and I was reading some of the reviews, and some of them were like, if you're going into this just expecting like a sci-fi adventure movie and you haven't played the games, you're not going to like it. And so I was like, that's me. Yeah. But if you played the games, you're going to like it. So I was like, okay, maybe this wasn't for me. This wasn't made for me. All right, that's fine. In
the chat, I think Saint Saucy said it's a very pretty movie, but it's pretty soulless, and I agree with that. Like,
that is spot on.
This is just expensive recreations of cutscenes with no actual like investment of gameplay involved. Like, I don't care because I didn't spend time with these characters to get to these plot points, and it's not charming enough for me to care about these plot points. It's just moving forward. And that like the most egregious thing to me, the character, the psycho guy.
It's literally
this guy,
psycho
with the mask.
Yeah.
On the cover of one of the games, it's him doing this, and it's a bunch of paint coming out the other hand.
Okay.
Bunch of color.
He technically has dialogue.
He's just
he technically has dialogue, but I'm assuming those are direct lines from the game by the original actor.
Oh, you think?
Yes, because they are such canned pieces of dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, randomly you hear ADR that's equivalent of "get over here," and it's I can't are you throwing your voice? I have no idea what the fuck's happening. I assume that's the guy with the mask. That was one of the things that I clocked is like that must matter for the fans of the game, but for the movie it means absolute shit all.
He just felt like Drax.
No, Drax had
no, I mean like
Drax had
trying to like he's just yelling things like Drax Sales things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We all look away.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
I didn't mean it.
I mean, why? I'm having trouble squaring that circle because I don't even like to compare this to Guardians of the Galaxy. Not even because I'm just a James Gunn simp, just because the fact that every single piece of that movie drove a plot. Yeah. This is just like a mash of shit.
Yeah.
Yes. All seemingly cribbed from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
They were trying and failing. I'm not saying I
see
wasn't
more of your
comparing it.
Suicide Squad comparison. I didn't
The
clock that
original one.
immediately.
Talk about
The
the
original,
mid.
yeah.
Talk about mid.
I
Oof.
see that more.
Yeah.
Like getting this ragtag group of criminals together, outlaws, and like accomplishing a goal, but not
And also not
caring
giving
about
a shit. Yeah.
trying to get everybody's background all at once.
Oof.
Yeah.
That there's, what is it, Katana? That there's Katana.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
get cut by her sword. It carries the souls of all her victims. Like,
Yeah. Literally, like,
that's a
okay.
fucking line in the movie.
Tell me more about that. I don't know. Like,
Oh. And he's yelling it over like a jet engine.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, that movie's
That
awesome.
movie.
But this movie is inoffensive. I could put this on and do laundry.
Yeah.
It's inoffensive and boring.
I would have loved this as a kid.
Yeah.
Like younger, I would have.
enough.
I would have
Yeah.
eaten
If
this
I
up.
was,
I
like,
would have thought. I would have
11?
thought the shitting joke was hilarious. I would have.
What are you saying? Yeah, if I was
Is
11,
that-
I would have liked this.
Both of you were really into scat when you were
Yeah.
11.
I was
yeah.
really
Yeah.
into poop jokes.
Yeah.
I
MC
still am for
Scat
the
Cat.
most part, but that just I didn't land for me.
It just wasn't a very good movie, unfortunately. Like
I
pieces
feel like
were
it's
there.
close. I feel like it could have gotten there. The writing was rough, and the action was kind of fun.
There's some good bits, yeah.
Yeah, some shoddy CGI. When the towers are falling, all of those things that what's her name, Tiny Tina is
Sure.
on, and they're like falling.
Oh, yeah.
It just like it looked like a flip book of animation. It was awful, but like it wasn't as offensively bad as everyone seems to think it is.
No, it's not.
If it was on Sunday afternoons on UPN growing up,
I have a 12-year-old nephew and a 9-year-old nephew, and they will probably love the shit out of this.
Right. Like that's
And
the
it's
audience.
PG-13, and
Yeah.
they'll be able to watch it. Like, yeah, they should have advertised it as such. Yeah, just trash for kids.
It's fine.
yeah.
Trash is good. Also,
Yeah,
everybody
trash is
who's
bad.
gonna
Yeah.
Garbage, bad, trash. So this is trash. Rebel Moon is garbage.
True.
That's how it is.
different thing.
Yeah, worst movie of the year? No, not in the year that 4 Rebel Moon movies came out.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. Help me with this. Vicious Marshmallow says, "Take the whole goddamn giant bag." Oh, peanut butter
M&Ms.
M&Ms.
Peanut butter
and eat-
marshmallow sounds
and eat-
amazing.
Ooh, and eat all them. She's literally my favorite actor for decades. No hyperbole, says Pink. Kate and Jack worked with Eli on The House with Crooked Clocks.
No, it's the house with the
With the
clock in
clocks
its
in the
walls.
walls or something.
The clock
yeah.
in its walls. Yeah.
And then Chris says, "Ice smoke in a Penn Station East Coast sub the chicken teriyaki sandwich most of the times when I go to the movies."
That is, I'm assuming, a non sequitur poem that you just read. No punctuation, just random
Ice-
words.
ice smoke
Did AI
in a
write
Penn
that?
Station
Chris, did AI write
East
that?
Coast sub the chicken teriyaki sandwich.
Hang on, do it like this. I smoke in a Penn Station East Coast sub the chicken teriyaki sandwich most of the times when I go
I think he's
to the
talking about
movies.
food he eats at the movies.
Probably. But
In
what's
a
I smoke?
pinch, Station East Coast sub, I think is what it's supposed to be. I'm guessing.
I smoke in
I don't know what I smoke as.
I smoke in a Penn Station East Coast sub substitute the chicken teriyaki
It's one of those
sandwich.
like word
Most of the
games
time.
where you have
Yeah.
to read it really quick and it sounds
wish
like
It
something.
sounds like yeah.
I smoke in the Penn Station.
And Vicious says, "Oh shit, Galadriel."
Yeah, Galadriel's
So
up
let's
in
get
the,
in, we're gonna
she's
get into
hot, too.
spoilers.
It's great.
Well, I guess we can get into spoilers. I don't know if there's anything to
There's
spoil.
nothing to spoil. I mean, unless you want to talk about the last 5 minutes of the movie, why bother?
You know what?
I have a complaint I'd like to bring up after.
Please.
Okay.
A spoiler complaint? Is this,
It's not really a huge spoiler.
we could probably go without spoiling because
Okay.
there's nothing to
All
really
right, no
spoil.
spoilers. F it.
Yeah.
When
Tell us your
Jamie Lee,
hatred.
okay, no, it was just mostly about the teenage boys that were sitting behind me. Which
Oh.
I mean, this movie was for them.
Yeah.
They weren't obnoxious most of the time, but okay. The first shot, Jamie Lee Curtis. Are you okay?
I missed my mouth.
Jamie Lee Curtis is introduced.
Her
Boobies.
bosoms.
They wouldn't stop laughing.
Oh, really?
She's older?
I don't know. I don't know how old they were. They just kept and I thought I knew what they were giggling at first. I was like, are they giggling at her boobs? And then it was every time she came on the screen, they laughed
She was on,
until
you
she
only
was covered up.
Oh,
And so I was
you
like,
only
they were laughing at her boobs.
I feel like you only saw her cleavage like once for like 3 seconds.
Like during that scene, they like whenever she was on, you could see him.
Oh, really?
And it was
Before
just
when they're in her apartment.
I only know because the boys laughed behind me
That's
like
so
three
funny.
to 5 times, and I was just like, oh,
To be fair, I remember them from Trading Places.
Yeah.
boobies.
True Lies.
Oh, was she? No.
True Lies was sexier.
Oh, but she was topless.
It was also
Trading Places.
a little rapey. True Lies?
Was it?
Have you
I
never
haven't seen it
True
since
Lies?
the theater.
It's an
Spoilers
elaborate.
for True Lies.
Yeah, sorry, spoilers for True Lies.
It's a little rapey.
It's an elaborate plan to make her think that she's having to sexy dance for a person that's going to kill her husband, but her husband is actually the one doing it to spice up their marriage. There's weird consent and slightly rapey things going on where you're making your wife think she's under duress and dance sexily for. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Rough.
Like
I feel like
comedies
a lot
in
of
the
movies do
90s
that.
were
and the 80s.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, True Lies is a great movie.
To be
but
fair,
it's a weird
comedies
subplot.
in the 90s were half as rapey as the comedies in the 80s.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've made progress. We're less rapey in our. I'm just gonna stop.
Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone.
Vicious says, delicious 70-year-old tits.
I mean, hey.
Oh, he sneaks in a Penn Station East Coast sub.
Oh, so we.
What is a Penn Station East Coast sub? What does that sentence mean?
I imagine it's a place called Penn Station East Coast.
And the sub is the sandwich. I get the sub.
Yeah.
But like Penn Station East Coast, I've never heard of it.
That's like saying a Subway sub.
Oh, like Quiznos.
A Primo sub.
Voice
a Penn
text while
Station, yeah.
driving doesn't always work.
There you go.
Penn Station
Watching
East.
our YouTube while driving. That's awesome.
Or listening to it.
Vicious Marshmallow
That's true.
says, delicious 70-year-old tits.
My favorite kind.
I mean, she's beautiful.
still
She
looks-
looks great.
she looks good. Yeah.
I wasn't giggling. I only noticed it so much because people behind me were giggling. So it's more of a complaint of the people
the
that
people behind
I don't
you.
even know
behind
if this isn't a spoiler, but when they were getting ready to introduce Jamie Lee's character, at first I was like, don't make her mom, because
Oh, I kept waiting for that.
these ages don't match.
No.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
they're not like.
I was
I'm
waiting
like,
for that too.
Kate Blanchett looks amazing, but she doesn't look 25 amazing.
Yeah.
She looks early 40s wonderful.
Mhm.
So like, let's not. I mean, I guess it would work, but it didn't seem to track. I'm like, thank you.
Gina Gershon showed up in this movie,
Let's forget about it.
and she was awful.
We don't have to talk
Her
about it.
accent, just awful.
Was her work here better than her work in
Bound?
Thanksgiving? No.
Oh, was she in Thanksgiving? I
Yeah.
totally forgot.
She was in it for 3 minutes. She's
that's right.
she's literally drives the plot of the entire film.
That's right. I forgot that.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God,
forgot that
that's
was her.
right.
She gets
Yeah. Yeah.
Any whomst. What did you guys think of this movie? Did you care about it? Did you love it? Are you big Borderlands video games fans?
Yeah, I want to hear from the video game fans
Yeah.
if this is something that, because I
Maybe it
think
worked for
maybe it
them.
was, yeah.
I don't know what it is. So I think that movies that are mediocre, they usually upset me more than something that's like say really bad or really good.
Mm.
This movie doesn't upset me, but it is
No.
very mediocre.
Mhm.
Like it's just fine.
Yeah.
Can I ask you both an on-topic / slightly off-topic movie?
Only if it's more off topic than on topic, but go on.
What's your favorite video game to movie and or show?
Oh, wow.
Mine's Resident Evil.
That was the first thing on the tip of my tongue, but I was like, that can't be it.
Sorry.
Because I love Resident Evil,
wow,
the first
man,
one.
Hate for liking Muse and Twilight.
Hang on. I love Muse.
I know, I'm
I've
just
seen
kidding.
Muse.
You like
I
Muse more.
love Muse.
What are other?
You start vamping.
Wait, I guess Scott Pilgrim doesn't count, even though it is a video game.
I mean,
No, it
we're
doesn't count.
including like recent ones like Last of Us, Fallout.
It doesn't count. Neither does.
Oh.
You know what? Neither does Tron.
Tron doesn't count?
No, because it's not a video game before it was a movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a video game based on.
We're
the
talking
movie.
about video game adaptations.
Yes, video game. Sorry,
not
I phrased.
movies about video games.
Yes, video game adaptations.
So here, I'll throw out a couple of solid ones. Uncharted.
Super Mario Brothers.
Oh,
He loves that movie.
I adore the shit out of that movie.
No, I mean, the
I
one from
haven't
the
seen it in its
90s.
entirety. I've
my
seen
God,
it
Kate
mostly
Blanchett
when
is-
I come into your shop.
Kate Blanchett is 55. She looks fantastic.
Yeah.
She's wonderful.
She really
I love
do.
that woman. Anyway, Borderlands, Uncharted, which is inoffensive. It's fine. Assassin's Creed, never saw. Hitman, Agent 47, as well as Hitman.
Yeah, never saw it.
All the Resident Evil movies. It's like, I think there's like 40 of them.
The 1st one's good.
I like the first one. Yeah, I want to specify.
Silent Hill, there's like 3 of those.
Oh, yeah, I've seen Silent
Mortal
Need
Kombat.
for Speed.
Hill.
It's a racing movie.
Angry
with,
Birds movie.
Oh, Rampage was fun. Oh, Gran Turismo was actually pretty good. That just came out.
Five Nights at Freddy's, which we talked about on the show.
Movie was
Oh, wait,
terrible.
that's it. That's my favorite.
But Detective Pikachu.
Oh.
Gosh. Maybe it is Resident Evil.
I don't think it is.
No, for me.
Oh, yeah.
Street
I'm
Fighter.
saying I don't think it is for me. Final Fantasy VII Advent Children is cool as shit.
Okay.
It's a CGI movie. It's really cool as shit.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog is not bad.
Never saw it.
I haven't seen that one
watched half
either.
of it.
But I do love James
You watch
Marsden.
Super Mario Brothers all the time with your son.
You know what?
That's where I've seen most of it is when I come into the shop.
The new Super Mario Brothers movie, while I found it underwhelming and pretty mid when I first saw it, after watching it about 757 times with my son, I love it.
You've been Stockholm Syndrome into it.
I quote it. I love it.
I have brought this up because there are so many video game movies.
Mm-hmm.
So many. I have brought this up as a possible ongoing or reoccurring topic. Would you guys like us to review video game adaptations?
Trying to segue.
There are so many.
Sure.
All right.
I do.
You guys let us know.
Pink says Fallout, hands down, but I'm a hardcore Fallout fan.
I enjoyed Fallout as well. I haven't finished in its entirety yet, but I did enjoy what I watched.
Do board games work? Do board games count?
Jumanji.
Sure. Then
That's not a board game before.
I know.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Battleship.
Monopoly.
Battleship.
Uno.
The first Mortal Kombat I liked, but it's a terrible movie.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen the first Mortal Kombat?
No.
1994's Mortal Kombat?
No.
I've
also never seen Street Fighter.
Oh, that was really bad.
Yeah.
But I have it on Blu-ray if you want to watch it.
Although there is a really good line from Raul Julia.
Yeah.
What was it?
It's final film.
What's the really good line from that movie? When you saw me, it was the worst day of your life. When I saw you, it was a Tuesday. Something like that.
Damn.
He like kills her whole family and village or something like that. He's like, for me, it was a Tuesday. Like I don't even.
That was Ming
I don't even know who you are.
I was gonna say, that's like Thanos.
Ming-Na Wen.
There's a million people in that movie.
All right.
And all of them are second fiddle to Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com and let us know what your favorite
Video game
movie is.
Yeah. And if
Blood
we should
Rain.
talk more about it.
Yeah.
That's it. We did it, you
Spy
guys.
Kids 3. Game over. No?
Video game?
Can we,
No, it's not. It's
Oh,
just
I was
video games
like-
in it.
I was
Can
like,
we
I
leave?
changed my answer.
Doom.
can we get out? I never saw it.
The first Doom
Never
was
saw it.
kind of solid with Carl Urban.
Oh, I love Carl Urban.
He's the main character.
Oh,
Mhm.
he's great.
Anyway, yeah, we're heading out.
Yeah, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
We'll we'll see you next week where we're going to talk about one of our favorite genre movies, The Guest.
The Guest.
Watch it this week.
Dan Stevens.
You could join us next week for the conversation.
Again.
That's so good. All right, love you. We'll talk at you later.
Bye.
Do-do-do.
YUNKJunk!